There is a force within you that endures even through decomposition. It does not bleed, it does not decay, it does not give up. It remains when muscles fail, when eyes close, when the name is forgotten. It marks the end of matter and the beginning of rebirth. This is not about spiritual theory, this is about a bone hidden at the base of the body, as firm as stone, as silent as ancient time. The sacrum, the phoenix bone. The Egyptians associated it with the Jed pillar, the spine of Osiris, which holds up ascension. In Islam, it is the seed of the Last Judgment, the part that remains so the body can be remade. In Kabbalah, it is called light because it never decays. But why does this matter? Because everything in your life can fall apart. And if this bone remains, then there is still a plan. There is still a map buried within you. What you are about to discover here is not only how the body supports the soul, but how it holds the code of your own resurrection. Not every collapse is the end. Some happen quietly, so something deeper can take form. And what rises does not come from the mind or the will. It comes from the base. There is a bone in your body that does not bow to time or destruction. Located at the foundation of the spine, the sacrum is more than structure. It is a point of permanence, a solid fragment that holds the right to begin again. In Islamic tradition, it is from this bone that the body will be reformed on the Day of Judgment. In ancient Egypt, it symbolized spiritual support. For Hermetic initiates, it was the root where the inner sky is anchored, not because it is mystical, but because it is unbreakable. These traditions did not create allegories, they created maps. Maps of the body to access what still lives when everything seems to have died. And this point, the sacrum, only reveals its true function when everything else can no longer hold anything together. That is where the cycle of resurrection begins, in the dust of an old identity, in the solidity of a bone that endured. The promise is not in the future, it is in the body, and it can be accessed by those who dare to descend, to go down to the densest point of existence, and from there, be reborn with new structure, not needing to erase who they were, but honoring who they can still become. In mystical traditions rarely accessed by common thought, there is a belief that the body never fully dies. There is one part that never gives in, a fragment that withstands the passage of time and holds, untouched, the original blueprint of existence. In esoteric Kabbalah, this point is called the bone of light, invisible to dissection. Impervious to matter, it is said to be the core from which the body will be recreated at the end of times. But the ancient sages never saw this as an apocalyptic event. For them, the end of times is an inner state, the moment when everything collapses within and still, a part remains alive. This same principle appears in Islamic hadith under another name, Agb al-Donab, the tailbone, the only part of the body that, according to tradition, survives all decomposition and carries the primordial substance from which God will remake the human being. Here, the body is not just a temple, it is living encryption, a vessel of codes that do not die with the body, they only fall asleep. That is why the ancients spoke of rebirth, not replacement, because what returns is not something new, it is something ancient, deep, and intact, brought back to the surface with new awareness. And for that, physical death is not required. It is enough to reach the edge of the old existence. And there, at the point where many believe everything is over, to recognize the silent signal of what still beats, the call to be reborn from what never died. Science does not call it the phoenix bone, but it already recognizes there is something unique in the densest point of our structure. The sacrum, technically made up of fused vertebrae, is one of the most protected regions of the body, and also one of the most connected to the autonomic nervous system, especially the branches that control unconscious functions like survival, defense, freezing, and restarting. Studies in somatic neuroscience reveal that deep traumas are not stored only in the mind. They are recorded in silent layers of the body. And one of the areas with the highest density of somatic memory is precisely the sacrum. But there is more. Research in bioenergy and fascia, the connective tissue that surrounds muscles, nerves, and bones, shows that this region functions as a subtle electromagnetic transmission field. In other words, it not only supports the body, but also interacts with emotional, energetic, and vibrational patterns. The fascia connected to the sacrum acts like a living mesh, capable of storing and releasing information tied to identity, trauma, and life force. Therapies such as somatic experiencing, created by Peter Levine, and more recent approaches in neurology applied to emotional healing, state that the body must be involved in the process of psychic reintegration, and that an individual's rebirth only happens when the base is released. In this sense, what traditions have called the phoenix bone, a point that resists death and holds the map of rebirth, is now gaining scientific support. Today, sacral stimulation techniques are used to treat treatment-resistant depression, deep dissociative states, and post-traumatic blocks. The reason: there is a kind of memory there that does not fade with time. It only waits to be awakened by the right impulse. And that impulse can begin ... Now, rebirth does not come by intention. Resurrection is not a mental choice. It is a shift in frequency at the structural core of being. And this frequency does not rise until it is released at the base. The process begins below language, below narrative, below the mind. It begins in the body. More precisely, at the point where everything endures. Step 1. Honor the base. Lie down on the floor, with nothing under your spine. Feel the weight of your body being supported by the ground. Bring your attention to the sacrum, not with effort, but with listening. This is the entryway. Do not rush. Simply acknowledge this bone as the silent guardian of your new beginning. Step 2. Slow the mind to hear the code. The sacrum vibrates at frequencies a racing mind cannot reach. Close your eyes. Breathe in 4 parts. Inhale for 4 counts. Hold for 4. Exhale for 4. Stay for 4. During the cycle, repeat mentally. Nothing needs to be understood, only remembered. This mantra prepares the neuro-quantum field for what is to come, a reconfiguration from within. Step 3. Recognize the unbreakable point. Place the palm of your hand on the base of your spine, even over your clothes. Settle there. Breathe with your hands still. Imagine this touch is activating an ancestral field, as if touching the oldest stone of your inner temple. This simple gesture communicates to the body, we are ready to rise again. Step 4. Open the portal of inner reconfiguration with the body grounded and awareness activated. Now imagine a point of light inside the sacrum. Do not try to control the image, just let it appear. This light does not rise. It pulses, like an ancient compass, rediscovering the rhythm of your center. As you breathe, visualize this light gently expanding, as if waking up from within. This is the moment of deep silence. Let go of expectations. You are not creating sensations. You are accessing a frequency that has always been there. Now, repeat softly, almost in a whisper, all that I am is here. All that leaves returns. This phrase seals the field, giving verbal form to the vibrational code being activated. It resonates not through logic, but through cellular memory. Step 5. Anchor the body in the renewed present finish, standing. Bare feet, relaxed knees, loose shoulders. Imagine every part of you being reorganized around the phoenix bone, not as a center of support, but as a new axis of identity. You are not just whole, you are rewritten. Walk slowly, like someone returning from a sacred place. Do not think, just be. Resurrection does not arrive like an explosion. It reveals itself as a structure being restored. And you have just crossed the threshold of this new body. Now that the frequency has been touched, something invisible begins to reorganize. You might not notice it right away, and that is part of the process. The phoenix bone does not respond to anxiety. It works in silence, but with absolute precision. The energy that once slept at the base begins to rise, not as fire, but as structure. You are not lighting a flame. You are rebuilding the temple that can hold it. And this reconstruction has a cost. Presence. Do not run from density. Stay in the body. Over the next few days, bring your attention to the sacrum whenever you feel lost, scattered, or fragmented. Close your eyes for 20 seconds. Feel the ground beneath you. Recognize this point as your center of vibrational stability. It is there that your awareness must rest when everything around you begins to dissolve. This simple gesture creates a field of return, like an invisible thread guiding you back to what is eternal within. You do not need to remember it all the time, but you need to know where to return. Because there are moments when everything seems to fall apart. But those who have touched this point, who have recognized the bone that does not die, never lose themselves again. You will not be the same. Not because something changed out there, but because now you know where you begin again. In the basement of an old English university, there is a room that does not appear on any map. The walls are covered in symbols carved into stone. Inscriptions no one has ever fully translated, not even the most advanced linguists, not even the occultists who entered that space. It was there that Elijah, a researcher in comparative anatomy, discovered a human fossil with an anomaly. The body had been buried for over 1,000 years beneath a sealed foundation, but the sacrum was untouched. No dust, no cracks, no trace of time. It looked as if it had been sculpted yesterday. At first, he laughed. He thought it must be a dating error. But when he touched the bone, his body reacted with sudden vertigo, as if a vortex had opened beneath his feet. For weeks, he could not sleep, and when he did, he dreamed of things he could not understand. Circles of fire, birds rising from their own bodies, and a spiral of light emerging from the base of his spine. That was when he left his career behind and disappeared. Months later, he was found again near Egypt, living among desert monks, with a new spine tattooed across his back, symbol by symbol, vertebra by vertebra, ending at the sacrum, which he called the phoenix bone. He said he had died, but not in the body. He had died in name, in story, in the chains that kept him repeating the same patterns. That bone did not just hold him up, it rewrote him. Today, some scholars consider Elijah a collective hallucination. Others say he became a myth. But what no one can explain is how that room remains locked to this day, and the bone is still there. You may understand all of this, feel that it makes sense. Visualize every practice, every concept, every step of rebirth, and still be unable to move, not from lack of will, but from a kind of exhaustion that rest cannot cure. A soul-deep fatigue, as if something inside you has been buried for so long it has become one with the earth. This is the most invisible and most deceptive obstacle, because it does not scream, it whispers. It tells you the time is not right, that you need to fix other things first, that this won't work for you, and you believe it, because the voice sounds familiar, as if it were your own, but it is not. That exhaustion is not yours. It is inherited. It is the vibrational overload accumulated through generations, condensed in the center of your body. It settles right in the sacrum, because that is where the code of your reset pulses. And that is why the solution must begin there. Do not try to dissolve this weight with your mind. It is already contaminated. Go down to the body, activate the center, touch the ground with bare feet, breathe with intention, and stand as one who holds their own axis. Repeat, I am the point of rebirth for my lineage. You do not need to understand everything, nor feel everything. You only need to remember what is already imprinted within you. The phoenix bone does not ask for faith, it asks for presence. And that, ... you already have. What you have just accessed is not an ancient theory adapted to modern language. It is a calling that crosses layers of time and touches the deepest part of your present. Because the truth is simple, though no one dared to say it like this. You carry within you the code of your own resurrection, and it is not lost among unreachable mysteries. It is alive at your center of gravity, in the architecture the universe chose as its pillar. The sacrum, your phoenix bone, is not an ordinary anatomical structure. It is a vibrational amphora where cycles come to an end, so that others may begin. You may have lived decades entirely in collapse, repeating the same falls, the same escapes, the same surrenders. But the body refuses to give up on you. It is not waiting for someone to come and save you. It is the map of salvation itself. The pulse you feel when you touch the sacrum in meditation is not just any energy, it is proof that life was never interrupted. The spark remains, hidden but intact. And if trauma erased your paths, if pain ruined your inner structures, if disconnection made you lose faith, understand this: it does not change the fact that rebuilding is possible, because something there, in silence, remained firm. And what remains firm in the invisible is what holds every possibility of return. Thoth once said that every cycle needs a fixed point to begin again. The sacrum is that point. You do not need to know everything. You do not need to understand all the mysteries. You only need to return to the center and reactivate what never stopped pulsing. Recognizing the phoenix bone within you is more than self-knowledge. It is a vibrational act of courage. It is a declaration to the universe that, even after every fall, you allow yourself to be reborn. Not as before, not smaller, but as a version that remembers, that rises in strength, and no longer needs to carry ruins as identity. As Carl Jung once said, rebirth is the process of becoming whole. So let that wholeness begin from within. Let the return not come from outside, but from beneath your own skin. At the very point where everything seemed dead, there lies the code that was waiting for your yes. You are not broken. You are in the process of re-emerging, and the spark of resurrection has already been activated. If this video awakens something in you, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. This strengthens the current of hidden knowledge we are remembering together. I invite you to affirm what you felt here in the comments with the phrase, "My phoenix bone knows the path of my resurrection." This affirmation seals your conscious rebirth in this vibrational field that transcends time. Share this video with someone who is ready to remember they were never lost, only asleep. And don't go just yet. Click on the screen and dive into another transformative video on the channel. Each layer of revealed knowledge lights up a forgotten part of your origin. Remember, to be reborn is not to start over. It is to remember who you never stopped being.